Hey yo, what is going on you guys? It's Toby from GamersTech here, and today we're going to be talking about my Madden wish list. Alright, so I have some beautiful Madden gameplay in the background, so let's get started. Now, first thing is, let's get rid of these guys right here. Let's get some new commentators. Let's get, guys like Rich Eisman, Heath Evans. What's the guy from that used to be a Cowboy? Troy Aikman. Let's get some new commentators, because if I can play any game like on mute, and I do play Madden unfortunately on mute, then it really means I don't want to play the sounds of the game, and I think they really need to fix it, because it just makes the game seem a little bit boring after a while, and make the crowd much more louder. Let them, once they see a huge play, let them get up, have lights flashing, do something of that sort. Now, let's talk about some new factors I want to try to get implemented into the game, and maybe they can't do this within the time frame they have, but I think it's such a great idea. Let's make height, weight, and the personality of the player a factor in the game. So height has to do with your much more taller players like Calvin Johnson, who's 6'5", Chris Matthews, Mike Evans, the tight ends as well. Let that be a factor. So if the ball is really high, it's much more easier for a taller receiver to go up there and get it. We like to think that that's how it is in Madden right now, but if you ever kind of go through the instant replay, you will notice that for whatever reason, your taller player doesn't jump as high, or they don't do what you think they're supposed to do, because the way it's done in Madden right now is that depending on the player that they're going up against, they will match up perfectly for whatever reason. So like a 5'9" corner can out jump Calvin Johnson. It doesn't make any sense. Weight has to do with the much more heavier players. So your much more heavier running backs like Eddie Lacy. Because I've seen this countless times where a backup safety can tackle Eddie Lacy in the open field. It doesn't make sense. Personality has to do with you're much more aggressive players. So Ndamukong Suh or Marshawn Lynch. They're a very aggressive players, and that should be brought into the game. And holy fuck, right now, we're just talking about Marshawn, he ends up fumbling the fucking ball. I think that might be overturned anyway. So let's put that into the game. Let's make the aggressive players actually aggressive, and you see them fighting off people, and the much more balanced guys like DeMarco Murray is really patient. They wait for the hole to open, and then they burst right through it. And then the conservative ones are just the ones that get you your 5 yards, your 4 yards. Let's put that into the game. I think it'd be a really good idea. Now, since we're talking about a little bit of the running game, let's talk about the run block system, because the way it is now is it almost seems like a copy and paste of Madden 13, because in Madden 25 it was completely different. That running system was so good. I mean, literally you can run the ball all day and it would always be fun. But I know there was problems with it, and I truly think that, and this is the reason why I think they took it out of Madden 15, was because maybe they wanted to do other stuff with it and they didn't have the time to put it in Madden 15, but now that they had more time to really focus on it, maybe we'll see it in Madden 16. But we don't know. We don't have a lot of information on the game just yet. Let's talk about the actual blocking mechanics, because I've seen this so many times, and it's not just in run blocking, but it's in pass blocking as well, that the AI of the defense is just so much better than the offensive AI, that literally you can send in 4 people and your center will get confused and will not actually block nobody. So I think that really needs to get fixed. Let's revamp the offensive line AI so that way they can not only block you better in passing situations, because sometimes it's a 4th down and you want those extra few seconds, and for whatever reason they don't give them to you. Give me those extra few seconds on the 4th down because we really need to pick it up or whatever. Let's now, for run blocking, if you try to go to the outside, I mean, I know you guys have seen this multiple times where you try to catch the edge and you're going at an angle, your offensive line or just anybody in general will not block you, which is stupid. I think that should be fixed. Now, I want to talk about the offensive line just a little bit more. Let's say I'm running with Marshawn Lynch, just because Marshawn Lynch is in this video. That, you know, Marshawn Lynch is someone that moves the pile, so I want him to actually move the pile, and the offensive line, you know, help him out, you know, give him an extra few yards. And, you know, I want to see that whole defense try to, like, stop Marshawn, because, and I'll talk about it a little bit later on, but that's how it is in the actual game, because we see it all the time. You know, somebody's moving a pile, somebody's pushing it, offensive line is pushing it. You know, let me experience that in the game. Let's talk about better ball stripping. This is not something you necessarily see too much in the game, but when it happens, it's a game changer, because either that was your 3rd down conversion and you just lost it, or your guy ends up dropping it because the guy on the defense just strips the ball out. Now, there is no attribute to specifically stripping the ball, and I think there should be, because that's how it is in the real NFL. I mean, the best guy that does it right now is what's his name? Charles Tillman. He does it the best out of everybody. So he in the Madden, he's not really you know, appraised for it. So let me do that. Let Charles Tillman have like a 95 ball stripping. Because I truly think that will make the game, you know, a little bit more interesting. If you're trying to chase somebody from behind, then that way you can't hit stick them or anything, so try to strip the ball out. Makes much more better sense, you know? Let's clean up the tackling, and there's gonna be a moment in the video where you're gonna see what I'm talking about. And that is where somebody tries to tackle the running back, and it looks like a group of people are trying to tackle him, but in reality, and I think we all know this, is truly only one person actually tackles him, and everybody else just kind of like hovers over him. I mean, come on, clean it up. Make it a little bit more sharper, you know? Let's talk about better throwing options. And better throwing options is, you know, I'm gonna use Tom Brady as an example, because this is what I normally see from him, and that is that when he throws the ball, it's always a down and away type of pass. Let's bring that into the game. You know, it's a much more safer pass. It won't get you so many yards, but it relies on the receiver, you know, going low or diving for the pass. You know, let me see that. Let me witness it. Or just let me do it in general. Another pass that I have not seen is the back shoulder throw. Why is that not in the game? You know, I think that'd be a pretty fun pass to throw. How effective is it? You know, it depends. I think it's a much more effective pass, you know, on the sidelines and in the end zones, like in fade routes. Because right now you try to do a fade route and it's like less than a 50% chance you're gonna make that catch. I mean, that's just the way it is. Let there be another factor to it, like the different types of passes you can throw. And lastly is the jump ball. Now normally you can do this with you know, just lobbing it, but what I'm talking about specifically is I want to see my guy and the corner actually, you know, go up and fight for the ball, preferably with two hands, because I try to see it sometimes and somebody just jumps up with one hand. Normally it's on a streak route, and let's just make it more real to the game, you know, because Madden, that's what they've always tried to do, and I think they're moving away from it. I don't know why, but you know, come on. Now, let's talk about better double team. Now, better double team, because if you try to do a double team now in Madden, you don't get that different play style of each player. So like, if I put one guy on a press and I leave the other guy like a few yards back, they're both going to end up being either behind the receiver, you know, just following him, or they're going to be both on top of him. And that's not how it's done in the real NFL. You know, one's playing underneath, one's playing on top. So let's bring that into the game. I want to see a better interaction with, you know, the wide receivers and the defensive backs. You know, let's make it much more realistic. I want to see some hand fighting. You know, I want to see them actually fight for that ball. You know, if the corner has like a low awareness, then he kind of arm bars the receiver, and you know, depending on how well their skills are, then it'll be a pass interference. Or if their skills are really, really good, then it won't be a pass interference, and the receiver has to make a better catch, which will result in a body catch or a one-handed catch, because obviously if they're in an arm bar, they can't use their other arm. You know, it's just something to think about. You know, I think that would be a pretty cool addition to the game, because right now it can be cleaned up and it can be a little bit smoother now. Because right now the way we have it is, it's a little nudge, and then we're going to be following you for like when the ball's thrown. No, I think that it should be a little bit more better. And you right here, guys, you kind of saw it a little bit. Clean that up. Clean the tackling right here, because it looks like multiple people are trying to tackle him, and everybody else just looks like they're just sliding over him. You know, just kind of clean that up. I think... No. I have one more. Excuse me. I kind of burped a little bit. Team intros. I don't know why it's not in the game. I know it used to be in another Madden. I don't remember which one it was, but there used to be a team intro. If you were the home team, you would get like a little intro. Why not bring that back? You know, every team has their own specific intro, and I think it's pretty cool to see it. You know, the Seahawks have their the little Seahawk fly out the entrance. The Texans have like all their guys running out from like this bull, and there's like fire and stuff. Bring that back, because I think that was the coolest part of starting the game. You know, you see the intro of the home team and it just gets you all fired up. Bring that back. I really enjoyed that. I think that's it for gameplay. So let's move on to Connected Franchise. Now, Connected Franchise is, you know, we all know it, but let's make it a little bit more interesting. And what I mean by that is, let's have like a mini story to every team that you can play as in franchise mode. So you have 32 teams, so you have 32 stories. Now, we can do this two ways. One is that EA makes the story themselves, or you pick from a variety of different starts from your season. So you can be the front runners, like how the Broncos were this past season, and they were just completely beating everybody. And then towards the end of the season, they were having a hard time, you know, connecting and winning games. Now, you can be the I don't know how to. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Marshawn just taking on the whole defense there. Damn. Going back to this. So then you start off more like the Patriots, which is another way you can do it, and you have like a really rough first month, but then after that you get better and better as the season goes on. Then you kind of have your in-betweeners where you're like the Seahawks, like you had some good games, you had some really ugly games. Let's do something like that. And as a reward for winning the Super Bowl, for instance, then you get a legendary player of your team. Excuse me. And so that way, let's say I'm playing as the Cowboys, because I am right now. I would acquire, Deion Sanders. I would get, what's the guy's name? Troy Aikman or Roger Staubach. Anybody. Emmitt Smith. Other people from other teams like Ravens, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Redskins, Sean Taylor. Let's make it more fun and more willing to play, franchise mode, because I think that'd be really interesting to do. Like winning a Super Bowl and then getting a legendary player of your team. That's badass. Now, there has to be a limit. And I think the limit for a connected franchise to like get players like that, legendary players anyways, it would have to be 10 players. You would have to win 10 players, but there'd be a free agent tab of legendary players. So they're not connected to the free agent players going based off the current NFL, but you have legendary free agents that you can like put on your team without any cap ramifications, because that's not fun. That is not cool. That should not be a part of the game for legendary players. I want to have like the coolest team, awesome receivers. Let me do that. Now let's talk about import a custom draft class. I heard a little bit about this, and I find it really cool. A really cool idea. Bringing the new draftees coming this season, like Jameis Winston, Todd Gurley. Let's do that. Instead of these weird and nobody presets that we get from connected franchise already, let's actually bring in actual people, because it just makes the experience that much more believable and that much more real. Now let's talk about simulation difficulty, and I got this from Moonlight Swami. I saw his Madden wish list, and it makes sense because Madden, at least the connected franchise mode of Madden, is just so fast-paced and not real enough to where it's like you can score like 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns easily if you're playing 7-minute quarters. You can get like 8-10 sacks with one player if you wanted to, and it's not real. So let there be a simulation difficulty where it's the in-between of all pro and all Madden. So that way it's not as hard as all Madden, but it's not as easy as all pro, because all pro can get pretty easy once you get used to it. Let's talk about better trading for connected franchise, because I know, and everybody knows, how hard it is to get really good players just by trading for them. And it's hard because you have to eventually give up draft picks, and you don't want to do that sometimes. But, the way I've seen it is that you can do it two ways. One is that you have a more realistic trading system, and you can put that on, like in the beginning of connected franchise mode, you have like the options of what you can do. And then you can have a more player-friendly trading option where, if you want to have like the greatest backfield of all time, you want to have, Adrian Peterson on your team, you want to have DeMarco Murray all on the same team, Calvin Johnson, let me do that, because I think that's much more fun, and I think Madden is trying to lean towards more fun, and let me do something like that. Let me go crazy with trading people, at least in that option. Now let's talk about full customization of your coach, your owner, player, and your team, because right now there's a set of 18 presets per skin color, and I don't like that, because it limits what you can do creativity wise. And let me decide what kind of skin tone I want, specifically, because in total right now this is kind of a rough estimate, and that is that there's 32 total presets. That is such horseshit. Let me do what I want to do. Let me customize my player. Let me customize my team and all that, because and this is just for Connected Franchise. I'm gonna get to general customization in the next topic, but let me do stuff like that. Let me have full range to customize, you know, everybody. Okay, now I think that's it for Connected Franchise. So let's move on to customization in general. Now, a lot of these things Madden used to have, and I don't know why they got rid of it, but you know, we're gonna go through them now, and I think they should all come back essentially. Create a team. You know, I think that's pretty badass. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just pretty much what it sounds like. You create your own team, you know, and you can put whoever you want on your team. So you want to have the greatest wide receiving core of all time, you know, have Michael Irvin, Shannon Sharp. Let me get some players from now. Jordy Nelson, Des Bryant. Who else? Demarius Thomas. Let me do that. You know, no salary cap required, because then I think that's dumb. That's a little bit of bullshit if there's a salary cap on a creative team. Now, let's go to create a player. Now, if I want to create my own player, I want to, again, really design my player to my liking. You know, specifically how my player looks, and you know the what he wears on his uniform and stuff like that. Well, you can do that now, but if you try to do it too much, if you try to add too much stuff on, then you like that all the extra stuff that just doesn't show up. So let me have full range of customization on my player, and this also has to do with the create a player, because you guys know, and as well as I know, is that once you create a player, you get that black shadowy silhouette that you know, shows who your player is on the team intros. Let me upload my own photo. You know, let me, like, let's say my player's name is Mark Wahlberg. Let me upload a picture of Mark Wahlberg on there. Let me just put whatever I want up there. Now, with restrictions, because obviously somebody tries to put something that's a little bit graphic on there, you know, restrict that obviously, because that's a little bit too much. But other than that, let me be creative with how I want my player to look. Create a uniform. Now, this is more for creating your team. Let me design the color scheme. Like, let me choose the color of each individual stripe, each individual addition to the uniform, because then that just gives you a whole range of creativity that you can explore in the game. And maybe you'll spend a lot of time on it, but hell, at the end of it, you're gonna be like, you know what, I created that damn thing and it looks freaking badass. So let us do that, you know. Let's go to create a stadium. You know, they used to have this in Madden, and then they got rid of it. You know, bring it back, because I want to be able to create my own stadium. Like, I want to have a dome. Let me create a dome. Let me create a coliseum, and I want it to look like this. I want the end zones to say this. I want the fan zones to like say this. Let me do that. I think that'd be really cool to do. What else would create a stadium? Like the lights. Let me do that. The logo in the middle of the field. You know, what's playing like on the jumbotrons or like the little TVs that are around. Like, let me do that, because I think that'd be really cool. Because right now the way you get it is that if you try to get like your own stadium, and I think it's online and maybe it's offline too, but you get this generic chrome football like just floating around. No, I don't like that. Let me decide what goes on there, because I mean, it just looks out of place and it doesn't make any sense. Now let's move on to create a play. I know create a play used to be in Madden because I used to mess around with it. Now, I understand that people will abuse it, but set a limitation to what you can actually do. Like, but let's not avoid the fun part of it, because I know some plays they try you think it's gonna work and they end up like not working, you know, for whatever reason. But let's say I want to make a play like from the longest yard, you know, where the whole offensive line, you know, shifts to one side and like everybody else like moves to that one side of the field. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know how the NFL rules are about that. But if there is no rule against it, let me do something like that, because I think it'd be hilarious and people would be like, oh my god, that's like that one thing from like that one movie. You know, let us do something like that. I think that'd be fun, and I think we'd all be surprised with what players come up with. You know, but let's not make something stupid where it's like 5 players on one side of the field and they're all in slants, or they're all, you know, rubbing against each other and like it glitches out the game. No, I mean, let's set a certain standard, or at least a limitation, but let's not get rid of the fun, you know? Let there be a healthy balance. And whoa, what the fuck? Oh shit! Oh fuck, he fucking caught that shit? Oh my god. What the fuck? Wow. This is why I love Madden, guys. You see plays like this. Wow. Now that was a pretty cool play. I think that's it for customization. So, well, let's move on to the last thing, and that is you know, MUT. So I don't have so many things on MUT, but I think what I have is pretty good. Better bidding on the auction block. So the way you bid now is a little bit too confusing. Well, it's not technically confusing, but like sometimes if you try to place a bid, it won't let you, and then it freezes, and then it sends you back to like the MUT home screen, and then you completely lose the player you wanted to get because reasons, what, right? So let's clean it up, and it may be a server issue because I know my internet connection is fine. So I don't know why I'm experiencing that type of thing. So I think they need to fix the servers, excuse me, and you know, just make the MUT a little bit more, you know, a little bit more polished up. You know. Here's another thing, and this is more for like head-to-head seasons, stuff like that. Why is it like, if you step away from head-to-head season for like, I don't know, like let's say like a couple days or like a week or so, and you end up coming back and like everybody's like a higher overall than you are, and there is no way you can beat the team because they just have better players. I don't understand why that happens, because sometimes if you are like doing your Super Bowl and for whatever reason you end up going against somebody who's like barely starting out, why is that happening? No, let's fix that, because I think if you're competing against other people, it should be based on overall, not based on, you know, what season you're in. No, because that's stupid and it doesn't make any sense. Alright, so now let's move on to let's move on to that stupid 10% tax that we see. I don't know what that is, to be quite honest, but let's get rid of it. You know, I don't know. I don't understand why there's a tax. Maybe you guys can tell me, but right now I can't figure it out. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because it's a game. Why is there a tax? I know sometimes we spend real money for like points and like packs and stuff. Why is there a tax? Somebody please let me know, because I don't understand it. Let's move on to the final thing I have, and that is that the coin wager matches. And when I first heard about this, I found it pretty interesting, because right now if you try to do like the whole seasons you don't get as much coins as you possibly should, which doesn't make sense because it takes a lot of your time to go through all that, and then you end up not getting as much coins as you thought you should. And wager matches is really interesting because now it's you versus somebody else, and winner takes everything, you know. So somebody puts like 10,000 coins, or 25, 50, 75, 100,000 coins. They put that on the line. Somebody else puts this many coins on the line, and then whoever wins takes everything, right? Now, if you quit the game, you automatically relinquish your coins because that technically counts as a win. I'm just saying, because I know some people are going to get angry and frustrated and rage out, but let me just say, if you rage out and you quit the game, you lose your coins, because Madden classifies that as a win for the other guy. So that's just something you might want to consider if you put down coins on a wager match. And again, I don't know exactly how Madden's going to go about doing that, if they try to do that, because I heard some people say they might classify that as gambling. I don't know about gambling laws, but I truly don't get it if it's going to be based on a game, because other games have gambling and it's perfectly fine, but again, this is Madden, and I don't know if they're going to try to do that. It might go away from their image and who they are. So now let's talk about something else. It kind of goes with wager matches. So like, let's say somebody likes a player from your team and they want to have your player. Now they don't want to trade you for it, but let's make things interesting. Let's say you want that player, you put down 100,000 coins as the reward for that guy. And if you win, you get the player and you keep your coins. But if he wins, he keeps his player and he gets your coins. So that way, there's not just, just coin matches, but now there's a little bit of a combination. If somebody wants your player, but let's say that guy doesn't like anybody from your team, then he could put down, then he'll just want some coins from you. Then that's perfectly fine. Let there be a combination between coins and player. So that way, it's just more of a combination of things. Now it's not just one specific thing, but now you can explore different options. But again, there has to be a certain value for the player. So like, you can't put 10,000 coins for a player that's worth like, I don't know, a million coins. But let there be a healthy balance, because let's say you don't have a million coins, but you have, let's say, 75,000 coins. That's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Or 100,000 coins, and you put that down. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of other combinations they can possibly do. Collectibles, maybe. I don't know. And again, and this is something I just recently found out, is that why is there a limit to how many players you can put, on the auction block? Why is there a 20 player limit? Now, I understand that there has to be a certain limitation, because you don't want to put like 100 players, on the auction block. But let's say I have like my inventory is full and I want to get rid of players, and I can't do that because there's a 20 player limit. Like, let there be a healthy medium, like 50 players, 40, let there be something where you can get rid of players easier, because if you try to quick sell them, you don't get as much coins from them as you do, because obviously it's a quick sell, it's nothing. But again, if I want to auction them, let me allow to put more players on the auction block instead of just 20, because putting 20 will just take absolutely forever. I think that's it. I think that I covered pretty much sorry. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. And the game's almost finished. 51 seconds left. I think that's it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, punch that like button right in the face. And as well as, share this on Twitter, share this, you know, let Madden hear what I have to say, and maybe you guys did, you know, like the things I had to say, so, you know, let Madden hear it. If you want these options to be put in the game, then by all means, it's a perfect time to do it. Let our voice let our voice be heard. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know, click that like button, and if you didn't, you know, obviously dislike this video. But that's it for me today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Second down coming up.